It's Mooman.
Mooman?
This is not a dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mooman. It is Mooman on the mic.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, it is your man, Mooman on the mic, back with another episode of the Initiative Podcast, where we get into everything: celebrity news, world news, sociology, psychology, and WTF. Let's through. I meant to say let's go. Okay, listen, I don't negate a lot of the mistakes and errors that I do make on my podcast episodes. I do. Sometimes I keep them. Most of the times I keep them because I like to critique myself. I like to show y'all that I make mistakes, that I'm human as well. You know what I mean? Like, and then when people look at the episodes or research the episodes throughout history, the bigger I get, they're gonna, hear this one and be like, oh, well, at least he calls himself on it. You know what I mean? Like, and I love this. It's, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy giving y'all this information. I enjoy giving y'all my spin on it. The brand Mooman on the mic. Shout out to everybody who listens to the podcast. Y'all are my shout outs. Y'all are my headline heroes. Still moving forward, even though they were talking about a complete obliteration of the nuclear material in 6 sites. 3 sites which were completely obliterated. You know what I mean? And you know what kills me is that when I look on the news and they talk about the obliteration project with the B-2 bombers and the U-bombs and whatnot. And I mean, there's actually people in the news who are suggesting that America is not as strong as we are, that the people who dropped the B-2 bombs are incompetent, and that the B-2 bombs technology themselves, although we're the only people on the planet with this kind of weaponry, apparently is not strong enough to destroy the nuclear facilities in Iran. You see what I'm saying? Like, why are y'all degrading the American power structure itself like that? I mean, what is Iran's nuclear facilities made out of? Adamantium? And they're not. You see what I'm saying? Like, that kills me. You know what I mean? That just blows me away a little bit. I ain't even gonna hold you. And, again, shout out to everyone who's been keeping their head on a swivel. You know what I'm saying? It's getting dangerous out here. They're talking about a new pandemic July 4th. Keep your head out for that. Be on the lookout for that. You know what I mean? They talking about, new biological weapons. The old world order leadership is mad that a new world order leadership has now taken control, or at least trying to. You see what I'm saying? These are higher up problems, and it's trickling down into our lives. You see what I'm saying? And I seen the Money Watch. China agreed on a framework for the trade deal. You know what I mean? Keep that in mind. That's still going on. They got to deal with the fentanyl, because 90% of fentanyl in the world is basically made in China. But don't take my word for it. Do your own research. You see what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, let's go ahead and get into the headline hunting. Okay, headline hunting. The WWE's Roman Reigns nabbed role of Akuma, an upcoming Street Fighter live action. An article by Bryson Boom Paul. Roman Reigns is the cousin of iconic WWE superstar and movie star The Rock, who has starred in box office hits. WWE superstar Roman Reigns will be performing the Raging Demon technique in the upcoming Street Fighter film. Roman Reigns is their cousin. Okay, I mean, let me say that one more time. Of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Multiple outlets announced the casting on Thursday. Reigns beat out a cast sheet of who's who in Hollywood to secure the major role in the forthcoming Street Fighter live-action adaptation. The Hollywood Reporter broke the news. Akuma is arguably the best fighter in the classic video game. He made his debut in 1994 on Street Fighter Turbo. Known for his menacing presence and destructive power, Akuma is a fan favorite in the franchise. Reigns joins an eclectic cast of blending talent from music, film, and television. Rap star 50 Cent. That was actually going to be the next headline. We'll step into the role of Balrog. Country artist Orville Peck has been cast as Vega. Jason Momoa will take on the part of Blanca. Andrew Koji has signed on as Ryu, with Noah Centineo as Ken. Kalina Liang rounds out the lineup as Chun-Li. The film, produced by Capcom and Legendary, will be directed by Kitao Sakurai and is set to begin shooting in Australia this August. I'm here for that. I've always been a Street Fighter fan. Okay, most people are Street Fighter fans. You see what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Between Tekken and Street Fighter, those have been my earlier two favorite fighting games. I mean, shout out to Mortal Kombat, of course, and shout out to Tekken, but Street Fighter, and they better do it right too. And I didn't see old girl's pictures. Does she have legs? Because don't mess up my girl Chun-Li. Headline hunting 50 Cent to play Balrog in the upcoming live-action Street Fighter movie. Article by Devin Morton. 50 Cent will play disgraced boxer Balrog in live-action Street Fighter movie, which has seemingly solidified its main cast. Alright, Legendary Entertainment announced the work on the live-action Street Fighter series is underway after they acquired both the film and TV rights for the franchise. And yes, I know that was definitely a continuation of the last headline, but I just had to put that out there because, once again, Street Fighter fans, stand up. We got something coming. Headline hunting. Cameron penned six-figure book deal to write his memoirs. All right, coming out of Hip Hop Weekly, Cameron is stepping into a new chapter. Literally, the Harlem icon has signed a $750,000 book deal with Simon & Schuster to release his debut memoir, a raw and reflective look at his life and legacy. Due to release early next year, the book promises to trace Cam's story from his Harlem roots through his evolution into one of rap's most distinctive voices and cultural shapeshifters. Expect the kind of candid, no-filter storytelling that made Killer Cam a legend. Untold stories, hard-earned lessons, and his take on hip-hop, hustle, and staying power. Cam's pen game has always been sharper than people realize. On a recent episode of It Is What It Is, he casually dropped that he has written hits for major artists, including 3LW and Lil' Kim. You know, his words, he quotes, "I did write a song for Lil' Kim and she didn't want it," he said. "The lyrics changed and I ended up keeping it for myself. It was one of my biggest records, but I really mean it for Lil' Kim. Same format and she didn't like it. I'm happy she didn't, because that was what blew Cam up. One of the reasons why he blew up. Shout out to Cam, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't mind learning a little bit about the untold stories of his street career and how he came from the rags to riches, you know, ideology and you know, this, that, and the third. You know, mind you, he's been shot at. You know, he got shot. He had beef with Rock back in the day. You know what I mean? He had beef on the streets, and not just beef, but he had hella success. You know, his family owns, I believe, a restaurant chain that's legendary all across the South. I forgot the name of it, but once I get the name, you know what I'm saying, or if y'all know the name, inbox me that name or leave a comment on any post that y'all see this headline on or that you see this podcast on, because if I'm correct, there is a chain of a legendary restaurant that it's in his family, and he is a child of that progeny. So, which I would love to hear more about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, what is going on here? But let's keep it moving. Headline hunting. Researchers demonstrate giant photonic isolation and gyration. Okay, an article by University of Illinois Grainer College of Engineering, and this is me getting into my nerd gang right here. Researchers from Illinois Grainer College of Engineering are the first to demonstrate a simple and tunable method for realizing asymmetric couplings in integrated photonics. Their findings, published in Physical Review Letters and selected as an editor's pick, provide insight into topological physics while introducing a new approach for optical non-reciprocity and photonic gyration. And I know that sounds like, what the hell is Moo Man talking about? Well, let me let y'all know the practical benefits of this isolation and gyration. The practical benefits means that it enhances the performance of optical devices, high performance asymmetric transmission, okay, increased sensitivity and sensing, development of novel applications, photonic neuromorphic computing, which means those are faster computers, that's faster video gameplay, and that's faster optics in an MRI, for an example. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that we can pinpoint cancers or any other kind of biological discrepancies within the body much faster than we ever could ever. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why I love this kind of news. By utilizing asymmetric dielectric environments and near-field coupling and coupled complementary structures, devices can achieve high forward transmission and a wide operation bandwidth for applications like optical computing and informational processing. Let me say this one more time. Asymmetric mode coupling and multi-core fibers can be used to create optical gauges with ultra-high sensitivity and the ability to detect and differentiate different types of deformation, enabling advanced sensing applications. Now imagine applying that to the video games out here. The next PS6 they're on now? The next Xbox 1000? You see what I'm saying? Imagine how sensitive they can become. Holographic technology the minute they decide to come out with it. You see what I'm saying? Imagine how sensitive that can be. Google Glasses. All of this can be applied even in military, ideations. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is why physics research is so important, and the reason why I put it in the headlines. All right. But now we are in the back of the house headlines. You see what I'm saying? And I know sometimes, I do a little intro. Sometimes I'll have an intro. Sometimes I won't. It just kind of really depends on the vibe and the feel that I got, the time that I got, really. You know what I mean? But check this out. Supreme Court curbs injunctions that block Trump's birthright citizenship plan. All right. The Trump administration wants to end automatic birthright citizenship and enshrined in the Constitution's 14th Amendment. An article by Lawrence Hurley. Washington. All right. The Supreme Court on Friday allowed the Trump administration to take steps to implement its contentious proposal to end automatic birthright citizenship. The court granted a request by the Trump administration to narrow the scope of nationwide injunctions imposed by judges so that they apply only groups and individuals that sued. That means that birthright citizenship proposal can move forward in the states that challenged it as well as those that did not. The court was divided on ideological lines, with conservatives in the majority and liberals in dissent. When a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power too. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote for the majority. In dissent, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote that the decision was an existential threat to the rule of law. The policy remains blocked for now in one additional state, New Hampshire, as a result of a separate lawsuit that is not before the Supreme Court quite just yet. The court also said that the administration can continue working administratively on how the policy will be implemented. As a result, the proposal can now move forward nationwide, although individual plaintiffs could still file their own lawsuits in those states, and the current challengers can still move to reinstate injunctions that are less broad in scope. Trump's original executive order said the plan would go into effect after 30 days, but it was almost immediately blocked. All right, so birthright citizenship protected by the 14th Amendment, Supreme Court ruling in Trump's favor in a kind of way to where the states who've been fighting it can continue to fight it, and the states who haven't been fighting it, you see what I'm saying, I guess they're in trouble. That's what I've gotten so far. Let me know if I'm wrong. Don't hold me to it. You know what I'm saying? These are just articles that I'm reading. But they're articles that I am researching and that I am finding, and it's always fluid. The state of news, the scope is always changing. And I love it though, because it gives us everything to do. It gives us everything to research. It gets us off the couch. You see what I'm saying? At least before the next biological weapon drops, and it keeps us informed with the truth, even though AI has been determined to blur those lines. I mean, maybe not AI, but those who keep programming AI interfaces. You see what I'm saying? So we got to keep all that in mind as we navigate going into 2026 and beyond. This is one of the best times to be alive. I've always said that. I'm going to continue to say that. All right. Not to mention, son of Norway's crown prince Marius Borg Hogby charged with rape and sexual assault. The crown prince? But that's going to be another story for another special report and or podcast. Once again, it is your man's Moo Man on the mic. I want to thank y'all once again for listening, and I will see y'all on the next episode. Let's get it.